Okay. Hi, everyone, and a very good evening. And I welcome all those amazing speakers on board for the last day of Community Engagement Summit. Community Engagement Summit is basically a platform to bring artists, mental health professionals, social activists, and entrepreneurs on one single floor. And through Community Engagement Summit, we are planning to aim all those young, ambitious people out there who are trying to redefine the meaning of leadership and entrepreneurship. So I'm Shalmali. I'm the founder of two different initiatives called Empathy for You and You Lead. Empathy for You works in spreading awareness about mental health and suicide prevention, whereas You Lead works for transforming the dreamers into founders. We are working into bridging the gap between the mentors and wannabe entrepreneurs. And yes, we have an amazing cohort of speakers today present with us on the topic of feminism in fourth wave. We are basically so without further waste of time, I'm just going to ask each one of you to introduce yourselves, starting with Please go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Shalmali, and congratulations to you on this wonderful initiative. It's, I mean, I'm Shalmali and I met through Instagram, so it was a very interesting meeting. She wrote to me and then we connected. I'm actually based in Bombay and in Mumbai. Profession. So I also work at a law firm. The primary area of practice there is actually banking, restructuring, and insolvency. And my passion project is my nonprofit organization called Rohaa India, which is primarily an organization that is at the intersection of gender equity and sustainable development. And we are trying to sort of marry the two issues, with a deep focus on sexual harassment at the workplace, child sexual abuse, mm, matrimonial, domestic violence, domestic abuse, sexual harassment in educational institutions on the gender and sexual harassment side. And on the environment and sustainability side, we're trying to raise a lot of awareness about how do you, lead a more sustainable lifestyle where you reduce your footprint on the environment, day-to-day, activities that you can do. And our focus is on young children, adolescents, to sort of get them more involved in making these decisions for themselves right from a young age. And Roha is a complete grassroots initiative. So while we will end up working, tomorrow with policymakers, depending on the grassroots work that we do, our focus is very, very, and we take away from barriers like language, religion, and the modules and stuff that we do and initiatives that we do are very, very participatory. They have strong educative focus, and we want to translate into different languages. As you know, that India has very many dialects. People speak very different languages. So to make our work more inclusive, and the idea that we have is to basically make these institutions, whether it's workplaces, schools, colleges, or communities, whoever we work with, independent. So we just want to help them with some basic legal rights, some basic skill sets, practical sort of experience and learning, and then get them to keep doing these activities, whether it's a cleanup drive, whether it's a sensitization program, whether it's taking initiative to, focus on mental well-being in the community or in the institution. So that's pretty much my passion project, Roha. So I have about 5+ years of experience in working as a lawyer in both the fields, and I'm really happy to be a part of this panel to share screen with all of you.
That's pretty inspiring, and thank you so much for being on this panel with us. I would request Cielo to go next.
Hi, thank you, Shalmali. This is a great privilege and really honored to be part of your summit this 2020 and to be talking with other great women or leaders in your community. So, my name is Cielo. I'm born and I come from the Philippines, but now I am living in Vietnam for 6 years. Currently, I'm working in a tech company as a project manager of a micro learning app. At the same time, a business development manager of a tech company. Previously, I think the reason why Shalmali and I met it's because I'm connected with other fellow bloggers. I have a blog which is about cancer. I am a cancer survivor. So everything starts from there, I think. And I will really love and I will try to share my own thought and my own opinion about our topic for today, and how, well, how strong women or women nowadays in our community and dealing such kind of challenges in life. So
That's really great to have you on a panel, and thank you so much for joining in.
you're
I would
welcome.
request Maitreyi to go next.
Thank you, Shalmali. First of all, I'm a huge fan of women cheering on other women. So this is a clear platform for that. So thank you so much for having me here. I'm very happy to be a part of a panel that consists of incredible other young women. Um, I'm based in Nagpur, and I'm a founder of an organization called Zero Gravity, which is a youth-led organization, and it's a non-profit basically, and it functions under a foundation that I started in memory of my father. So it's called as the Dr. Shrikant Jichkar Foundation, and which I established pretty young. Also, I lost my father at a very young age, and after that, because he had a pretty big legacy that he left all of us with, because he was he was rated as one of the most educated person in the country, and he was a politician, and he was a doctor, and then he went on to take 20 degrees to his name, and then he eventually entered politics. So at least in our city, he was a celebrated personality, and I wanted to keep his name alive, so I started a foundation in his name. And then I established Zero Gravity, a youth-led entity under it. So it basically is a platform for young change makers to come together and work on projects of social good. We intervene in various areas, so it's education, healthcare, awareness, tourism. But also something that we really scaled upon was our space transformation projects. So we are big into government schools and hospitals and shelters for homeless children, for women and aged also. So we are currently, we have ended up transforming 100 government schools across the country. And right now we are working with government bodies, we are working with individuals, other organizations. So what we do basically with schools is, it's not just like picking up paint buckets and going to a school and just completely painting it. We have our own in-house team of architects and designers, and we work on a concept called building as a learning aid. So when we renovate a school building, we enhance the educational value of the school building. So everything that you see in the school is taken from the curriculums of these children. So it is to enhance visual learning and vocabulary. And because already in our country, the state of our public schools are so bad, that it is just a little initiative to start changing that around. So this is what we are into, and something that we have. So we call this as a star project. And from school transformation, we went into shelter home transformation. So these shelters are in such bad shape, and these are homes to especially more of girls and women who are coming from such disturbed backgrounds, and they are living in a place that is equally dull and dark, just like their life. So our mission is to build them more comfortable homes that inspire and bring more comfort in their lives. So that, and then parallelly we do a lot of stuff. We are working with village communities. We fund a lot of education for children, and then parallelly we are running a couple of healthcare programs. So all in all, this is what we do.
That's really amazing, and that definitely is a stretch. I want to know all of it, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now I would request Alolika to introduce herself.
Hi, I am a poet and a writer living in Bombay. I'm 19 years old, and I suppose I'm one of the youngest people on this panel, and I'm so inspired by all the work that you do and by everything that you spoke about. I previously worked with UNHCR as a community editor, and I'm presently working with Daily Hunt as a columnist. I've also worked with Maina Mahela Foundation. I worked on their social media strategy for Maina Speaks Conference, and I do work with Young India Foundation on digital campaigns, and I manage their Twitter. Apart from that, I'm a volunteer at um, the UNHCR, that is the UN Refugee Agency, and that is pretty much it. I'm studying accountancy. I'm preparing for my chartered accountancy examination that will happen in November this year, and that is pretty much it. I'm here on this panel as
Wow,
always.
that's great. Yeah, I was a little bit worried. Like today, also, am I going to be the youngest on the panel? But today, I have one who is, more younger than me. So thank you so much for doing that. Otherwise, on all the rest of the panels, I was the youngest, and plus being a host for all of the people who come from a, wide experience in their respective fields. That were just, oh my God, thank you so much. Okay, so without wasting much of the time, I'm going to dive directly into the questions. And actually, we are talking about feminism today. I would love to hear from all of you, like, what do you think feminism is, or what, according to you, feminism is? Cielo, would you love to go ahead? I guess you are on mute.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for putting me right away in this first question. To be honest, like what I shared to my own network, these for the record, and share my thoughts about feminism. I took time this week out of my best busy schedules to um, going backward about where does feminism start. When I reading through and realizing from and what I've been doing the past as a woman in a 34 years of age. Um, for me, feminism is a choice. And feminism goes way a lot of understanding going back in that time and socioeconomic conditions in the past. And uh, every woman has their own movement wanted to speak in their community wherever they are. For example, women in India, I've been seeing a lot of thoughts about feminism, and I know where they're coming from. But my own personal view, every woman has their own challenge in life, and they have their own way on how to express their strength. And some women expressing having equality, both gender. So I can have the same right that other women wanted to share, that they are feminist, but I may not always telling everyone that I'm feminist. I never said that before, or not yet, I think. Uh, but feminism for me is a choice, and it's seeing that men and women are just like equal. Like, I'm giving an example of an eagle. An eagle could not fly up high in the sky if one of its wings are not is not flying. So both must have the same rights, or equal rights, or um, they have their own choice on how to um, express their emotions or rights in the society.
Okay. Yes, that's pretty much true. And I would love to pass on the same question to Maitreyi. What, according to you, feminism is?
I never really try to define what feminism is to me. Like, I don't think we do that where we try to really define it in terms of what it actually means to ourselves. But feminism basically is a concept that we need to endorse, because it is something, it is just about asking our dignities, both as men and women, be protected. And both of us, like our society needs to see uh, through this gender lens. And actually this gender lens needs to be removed. And when it's removed, and when both the genders get an equal platform in terms of everything, that is what feminism to me actually is. For me, it's not a female concept. That is something that unfortunately it has been misconstrued or misrepresented, because that is why feminism for some reason has been uh, perceived in a very different way as well, which is tarnishing the most important concept of it, which asks for equality of both the genders, be it economical, political, or social. That is what the definition of feminism actually says. So for me also, it's just about endorsing that at all levels. It's about right from creating awareness to leading it to action, and then to be able to do that in our regular lives, starting from our own families, and just doing great things that will kind of kill this gender bias, and more and more people become more inclusive of the idea. For me, that is what it actually is.
Okay. Okay, so this is taking me to my next question now, as we are talking about feminism and fourth wave. So my next question is to Pragya. What do you think? What does fourth wave feminism is, and what does it want?
Okay, so I think just to sort of briefly introduce the concept of fourth wave feminism for people who may not be familiar with it, because I honestly didn't know when the fourth wave feminism kicked in. And I researched more about it when you posed the question to us, fourth wave feminism. And I agree with Maitreyi also when she said that somebody asked me to define feminism or asked me, are you a feminist? I'm really at a loss of words, Shalmali, because I feel like it's really a situation, right? It's basically, it's like a self-check every day of my life. I'm happy where I am. If I'm not, then I have to look at my environment, my home, my opportunities, my circumstances, and sort of realize that why am I not happy and an acceptance of where I am today? And there may be several reasons for that, whether it's the job that I didn't get, the promotion that I didn't get, or I went to A school and not B school, anything. And I have to then trace back to the reason of why I'm in that situation and not a situation I aspire to be in. And I have to logically explain it to myself that is this really because of patriarchy? Is this because of sexism, or is there some other color, to where I am today? So I think that it's really very, very subjective. Although, as we all know, that there are various schools of feminists across the world, and people don't identify even under the umbrella of feminism necessarily with each other. And there have been four waves of feminism. So we started from the first wave, which was in the early 1900s, that was focusing a lot on property rights, right to vote, because women were treated as a property of men, and that was the Victorian law. Then we graduated to the second wave of feminism, which started dealing a lot with civil rights movement, sexuality, the reproductive rights, rights to work, rights to employment. Of course, there was the anti-Vietnam movement that was probably and Asian American civil rights, etc. Then we went on to the third wave in the 90s and early 2000s, which made it less communal and more individual. And we started talking about violence against women. We started talking about equal pay for equal work, political rights, legal rights, etc. That brought us from 2012 into the fourth wave of feminism. Honestly, there's lots of criticism about it, but the new development in the fourth wave feminism is really the introduction of technology and the use of technology, social media, as a tool that women today use across the globe to really, give voice to socio-economic, cultural, political, religious issues, legal issues, and come together and stir up movements which are not in the traditional sense of, say, protests, offline protests, or civil rights movements that we saw back in the day in the first and second wave, but more about, really having a place where I can anonymously or with revealing my identity, go out there and say what I need to say. I can call a spade online or through the use of technology and express whatever oppression I may be experiencing as a woman where I am. So in terms of where it is today, if I would say that the benefit that we have from the fourth wave of feminism is the fact that definitely it's sort of given a uniform platform to a certain sect of people, a certain group of percentage of women to really voice their concerns. But if you ask me my personal opinion on where we are in if the fourth wave of feminism really benefits us, I disagree. Because honestly, if you see the statistics of how many people actually use the internet today, and out of those people, how many women are using the internet, it really highlights that how privileged the section of women or feminists are who are able to really participate in the fourth wave of feminism through the use of technology. Like if I could just quickly share some statistics that I took down, like for example, in the European continent, 80% women are using the internet. In America, also about 78 to 80%. In the Arab states, you have about 40 to 42% women who use internet. Africa is 22%, and APAC, the Asia Pacific region, is 40%. The rest are all male. And a different statistic that I came across, which is very interesting, global gender distribution of social media. There were lots of apps that were discussed, but the one that caught my attention was the usage of Snapchat, 61% women and 38% men, and the usage of Twitter, 38% women and 82% men. And Twitter is considered as the platform for the fourth wave of feminism, Twitter, Instagram, where the hashtags became very popular and movements started gaining traction. But actually, you have such few numbers of women who are participating in this fourth wave of feminism. Does not access the internet and social media. So in terms of inclusion and intersectionality, I think the fourth wave feminism is superficial, and it's very much only at the transnational and global level, and really does not acknowledge or rather deal with the individual rights of women, taking into account race, caste, color, religion, socioeconomic strata, earning capacity, and most importantly, what do I want as a woman? Do I really want to be part of that movement? I may share a story of, say, some rally or some movement in the US and be like, wow, great. I mean, it's good. I may do that as a woman, even if that group is LGBTQ or if that's a group of men. But, feminism for me today, or rather, care about feminism, because if you went to developing countries and asked this question, what is feminism? Most people won't even know the meaning of the word. So I would say that what for me today is something that doesn't make me feel oppressed, that doesn't make me feel subjected to somebody else's whim and fancy, where I have the basic ability and basic dignity of life, like Cielo said, to really get through, with my day and with my life. So what way of feminism somewhere is trying to systematize and homogenize oppression of women, which I think is doing a disservice to women, I think, across the world, those who do not resonate with, the online voices, or are not part of the online voices, or not necessarily feel as passionately, about it. So we need to sort of decentralize feminism and let's not give the narrative. First, men were like taking, they were the flag bearers of movements. Like in India, you would be familiar with, when Sati was abolished, and dowry was abolished, and Raja Ram Mohan Roy came. There was the Brahmo Samaj, Arya Samaj, educate women. All of this was introduced by men. Now you have this whole angle of privileged women and white sort of supremacist women who are controlling the feminist narrative to a certain extent globally. So for me, the true essence of fourth wave feminism would be to decentralize feminism and to really let the concerned community of women or group of women decide for themselves where do they lack, where do they find themselves oppressed, and what can they do to make their situation better by lending support as good allies.
Okay. And yes, I just got a message. Yeah, so I just request everyone, I'm going to end this meeting now and we're going to join again with the same link and I'll forward the same question to Alolika then. All right. So I'm just ending the meeting and join again with the same link.